Hello everyone, my name is Anastasia and today we are doing the parade of all the finishes I had in 2020. So get very comfortably in your stitchy spot, get a big mug of hot beverage or cold one, whichever you would prefer, and let's start because today I will be showing you 32 finishes. I know, because it was a big surprise even for me. I never count my finishes during the year. Yes, I mark them on a calendar and I know how many finishes each month I have, but when I turn over the month, after several of them, I forget how many finishes I had or what month I finished what. Of course, it's a long time, 1 year. So that's why when I counted how many finishes I got, I was like, what? that was like unexpected and overwhelming. Because my initial goal was to do at least 24 finishes. Like 2 finishes each month, because this year I was doing a challenge. First of all, it's a challenge with myself. I was doing a Stitch from Stash year. So this year I was focusing on stitching from stash. I was focusing on finishing my whips and I was focusing on non-buying anything. And to tell the truth, this big focus really helped me during this difficult year. First of all, of course, it helped me to diminish my stash a lot. 2/3 of my finishes are from my stash. I only think I bought like 3 kits and I stitched 2 of them. So everything else I stitched were either freebies or like from my stash. And that's like a big cut from my stash. So right now I'm feeling so much better. I don't feel guilty anymore for having a big stash of patterns. So now I can buy and start whatever I want in 2021. And I feel like I deserve to buy as much as I want. And secondly, how Stitch from Stash really helped me during this year is that the beginning of the year started that for 5 months I didn't have any job and I was just staying isolated at home. That's why it really helped me to save a lot of money, because this year were such amazing sales and so many new patterns that I'm just dying to stitch. But I slapped my hands and I did not purchase anything. So I am so happy that I did it. I challenged myself and I fully finished this whole year of Stitch from Stash. Hooray! So let's start with our parade. And the first thing I want to mention is that I will go from the latest finishes to the oldest ones. So we will go the whole year back. And I do not remember right now which month I stitched what. I will try to name as many designers and pattern names as I can, but I will not give any more additional information like on fabric or the dyers or anything. So if you are interested in any information, just send me a message in the comments and I will answer each and every one of them. Yay! So let's get started. And the latest thing that I finished was the Chinese Dragon by Antonina Tretyakova. It is so cute. I finished it as a pinky. Let's see. Yeah, I finished it as a pinky. Yes, it's not so perfect. So my cording, which I did myself from the red silky thread, is absolutely not perfect. I chose this snow falling fabric in light blue, which will go well with this blue. And the dragon looks so cute. I added these stars here and here because these were the ends of my cord and they looked so ugly in the places, so I had to do something and I didn't have anything else, so I was like, it's mine, so why not, right? I will always remember how it was my first big pin kip. It's not the first pin kip I ever did, but before I was doing it, I didn't really watch any tutorials, and I just did how I felt it. So this is the Chinese dragon, number 1. The next one is Winter Shape by John Clayton. The company is Heritage Stitchcrafts. It was a kit. I purchased it in Thailand, and it was like an impulse purchase. So when I purchased it, I was in a situation when I didn't have any cross stitch around me. So, and I had no access to my stash. So I was like, whatever, I'll just start it. It's not my pattern, it's not my style, it's winter. I hate winter, I hate the dull and gray colors. Whatever, I'll just start it because I knew that I knew about John Clayton. It's like pretty famous in the Russian Flosstube community, so that's why I was like, everyone is stitching it. Everyone is saying good things about it, so maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I am stitching it. I finished it. It's amazing. Like, I would definitely recommend everyone to stitch it. Everyone. It is so easy, but the result you get is amazing. It's like, it's a real life picture, but just done with some cross stitch. Oh my god, it's just amazing how much detail there is in just simple stitches. I mean, I think I already ranted about it during my video, one of the last ones, but it is just amazing. I keep looking at it. One more little pin kip is Hogwarts by Ekaterina Velika. So this was originally meant to be an ornament for my Christmas tree, but you see the size, right? It's very big. So I did not count correctly what fabric I should what counter fabric I should choose if I wanted to be small. So I just picked up the first fabric I thought it would be looking nice on and just did it. I substituted all the French knots with the beading, but everything else is as cold. I know that original pattern is in black, like black on white. I saw someone on Instagram did it in gold on black. So that's how I had the idea that the white on blue would also look amazing. But I'm so not happy with the cord. Yes, it looks much better than on the dragon, like it was done after the dragon. So I already had the idea how to not make the same mistakes. But I think if I would choose the black cord, it would be so much better. I did not see the whole picture until I just finished it, and then I was like, oh, maybe not so good. My reason is why I don't like it is that the cord is very, very like bright white, shiny white, and the stitching itself is done is just simple sewing thread and DMC thread, so it's not very shiny, and it's not even that bright, like sparkling white. So that's why it's definitely out of place. I think it would be like nicer if it would be dark black or something. It will still be shiny, but it will not be calling off some of the attention. For Hogwarts, I choose this amazing sparkling fabric. I don't know if you can see, but this is like the night sky fabric, and it's very sparkly. Like basically all these white splotches are sparkles. Nah, you cannot see it. You have to believe me. Have to believe my word. But it's very sparkly. And when I saw it, I thought it would be amazing because it's night sky here, but at the same time it's night sky there. So it will be just hanging on my wall and decorating, since it cannot be a Christmas tree ornament unless I buy a huge tree, well, like gigantic one. So this will look good on it. One more long-awaited finish of this year is the series of 4 patterns by Makaronka Stitch or Vika Jukaeva. I will show you all of them at once, though I remember that I started stitching the first one maybe in April, another one in the summer, one more was in the fall, and the last one in December. So basically it's year-long project of 4 pieces. But anyway, I really liked how it turned out, and again, I'm not super happy with my FFOing because my skills are just of a starter, but I think the more I do it, the better it will be in the end. So we've got owl deer. It's a mix of owl and some animal, so all of them have owl in them. Owl deer. Next one was owl bear. One more is owl fox. Oh, it's so cute. And the latest one was owl cat. All 3 of them I turned into Christmas tree ornaments. I chose the decorative rope for the sides, and the background I just did in some corresponding fabrics. So they are quite a series and they are cute. They're very cute. I don't know what to say. Each of them were not as easy as they look. There is quite a lot of backstitch, there is black work, a lot of blends, but at the same time when you look at the result, they're worth a whole effort. I mean, you have to spend a lot of time on each of them, but at the same time when you look at it, it's so delicate and so cute and it's just amazing. So I definitely recommend Makaronka's patterns, but definitely not for the beginners. So if you're a quite experienced teacher, yeah, please try, because it's definitely worth the effort. What I changed in the series is that the black work should be the same color in all 4 patterns. I decided to change it into some variegated floss. I chose variegated for 3 of them, and the last one was just black, but black is done in black craning, so it's also a little bit special because it's sparkly. And again, you cannot see on camera, so you have to believe me, but it's very sparkly, it's cute. This pattern does not originally have the black work circle behind it, so I just added it on. Like, they have all the same pattern behind them, though it doesn't look like it, but it has the same pattern exactly. But because of the color, I think, and the difference in floss, it does look a little bit different, but at the same time, it's amazing. So the 4 of them, and I did count each of them separately because they were 4 different patterns. One more amazing project that I did this year was the Halloween Girl by Anna Claudela. It's a freebie and it was in my to-do to stitch list for a long time, I think for a couple of years now, and I would just never actually started it unless I really needed it, because I tend to give priority to the patterns that are I actually already purchased or I would buy instead of freebies, you know. But this year, because I was doing a stitch from stash, if I didn't have something from my stash I wanted to stitch right now, the only way I can start something new was to pick up a freebie. So this was one of them, and I'm just loving it. This wonderful, beautiful woman is amazing. She's very beautiful. Yes, she's very heavily backstitched, but the detail is amazing. I mean, it seems big, but in reality it's very small. It's very small. I mean, even Hogwarts is bigger, and the Hogwarts is a pinky. So the designer did so much detail in just a couple of stitches here and there. Like her face, I don't know if there's even 10 stitches in her face. With this work, I participated in the hashtag Black Lives Matter and Representation Matters, and I felt myself as a part of the community, so that's why I think this works means quite a lot to me, and it's always be a little bit special in my heart. But of course, when I have a goal to have at least 2 finishes each month, I cannot just stitch big projects and very heavily effort involving projects, like even smaller in size but a lot of backstitch and beading, because that takes a long time. So sometimes I just need something very small. One of the smalls was the sunflower by Ukrainian company Fruzilog. It's stitched on the wooden base, and I think this was the discovery of the year, like the stitches on wood. First of all, they look amazing. No matter how fast or slow you stitch, the stitches on the wood, they always look perfect. Secondly, it's amazing experience because the wood is very nice for the touch. It smells greatly, and you just you stitch it, and at the same time you feel yourself a part of nature. I don't know how to express it better, but this company was the discovery of the whole year, and I loved it. So this sunflower has beaded seeds, and one more project of the same company, but a much bigger one, is the Autumn Wreath by the same company, Fruzilog. Both of them are covered with a pre-cut felt, so it's very easy to FFO them. You just stitch them, glue the felt, and it's done. So this is like a hanging decoration. Second try. This is a hanging decoration, and I think I started stitching it in spring and summer, and it was just amazing. It's called fall wreath, but for me it's forever spring and summer. The colors are so bright and happy, and I just can't. My English vocabulary does not have enough words to express all my feelings about this. So I love the greens. The greens are bright and vibrant, and the dark green leaf here, the yellows, the red berries, and of course the cranic in the beetle, it sparkles. Okay, I'm not gonna even try to catch it on camera. So for FFOing, they have 3 leaves under it, and the special rope, crafting rope, to put it all together and stick it on your wall. So it hangs on my wall. Yes, I do not have a special hanger on my door, maybe in my next apartment, but right now it's on my wall. It just makes every day so much happier. This year I think I've done the most amount of series of project. One of the series I had this year were Halloween cats by Nadesha. So I will show them one by one. The cat ghost, the cat witch in a pumpkin. I added the wand and the lollipop. Originally that's just a sampler of cats, and between the cats there are little things like a candy cane or a lantern or a wand or lollipop, but because I'm not stitching the background, let's say like that, and I'm not stitching it on fabric, so I just put in these little elements inside it. So I did it on plastic and I covered it with felt, so I feel like it goes well with it, even if it's not the same color, but it's still Halloweeny color, so right? And I had a cauldron, bubble bubble, and the vampire cat is like amazing, red vampire Dracula. And the last one is a witch, but this cat originally just sleeping on a pumpkin. I added a lantern The lantern is also from the same pattern, so it's not like I didn't chart anything, I just put it in on already existed pattern. So these are my Halloween cats, and another year-long project is done, completed. And they are not fully finished just yet because I will be making a Halloween garland with them, but I think I can wait till maybe next Halloween with it. So this project I counted as one because they're part of one set of patterns. They're part of one pattern basically. So of course I counted as just one. But each and every of them are quite huge. So it's not like a very fast and easy stitch, but it's still worth it. But it's very, very worth it. And it was quite easy to stitch. I mean, it was a travel stitch, so I can't complain. Travel stitches are always easy, right? And one of the biggest projects of this year was Summertime by Mirosha. I just framed it. How it happened is that I did not plan to frame it right away, so it was just sitting in my box of finishes, and I kind of like tend to forget about my already finished projects. So when I was like preparing the projects for the video, it was on top of everything. And I ordered several frames to finish that fairy. It's a 2018 finish, so I wanted to gift it as a gift to my boyfriend mother. And I didn't know exactly which frame would be the best, so I ordered 3 different frames. I chose that one for the fairy, and I received this, and on a picture it was more gray and not so bright. But when I just saw this frame, I instantly thought about the puppies. I was like, it's perfect. So I just put it in a frame, and the size was perfect. I did not measure it. I did not know how big the frame should be or what I want to do with it. I knew that I want it in a rectangular frame because I want to see this beautiful pattern on the fabric. It's a hand-dyed fabric, not by me, but unfortunately I don't know the dyer. So it's just amazing, and from far it gives the exact image that I was going for when I just started stitching it. When I had the kit, it was on brown fabric, and I thought, why not? I can just stitch it on brown. It looks bright and wonderful. Sure, it will go well on brown. But then I saw on Instagram one of the girls, she finished this kit on a light blue. Her light blue was like whole color, but it was still light blue, and I loved it. I love like this really gives the impression of the sky. And then in my stash, I accidentally found this Ada because I won it like several years ago. I never stitched anything on it, and it was this perfect size. Guys, I'm just gonna flip it and show you how I finished it, just like that. But you see how little margins I have? It's like only perfect for this pattern. I don't know, like the god of luck loves this picture, so he wanted me to stitch it on this. So there he is, one of the 2 framed pictures this year, and the biggest, like, the work of the year, I would say? Yeah, I would say it's the framing of the year. The frame is wooden or plastic made to look like wood. It's not custom made, it's just a simple picture frame. I buy my frames like picture frames, and then I just choose the right sizes. And in China there is a big variety of picture frames, so whatever I like the most, I just order them. It's very cheap. It was like 30-40 yuan. Amazingly cheap and amazing result. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I just hit my eye with this. Oh, whatever. We say that beauty requires sacrifices. So I think because this year was so different from everything, and I spent a long time just sitting at home, so I had this like all different ideas on how I want to finish projects, and that's why I started and finished this little Be Well pattern, whatever, by Wild Violet cross stitch. First of all, I saw it on Top Knot Stitcher YouTube, Flosstube, and she did it. It's so cute, and I don't know, like maybe the pattern itself did not call for me, but the way the stitcher talks about it and shows it, and it's had so many good expressions and emotions. I just love it. So when Top Knot Stitcher showed it and she was amazingly happy about it, I was like, yeah, I want to stitch it too. I want to be as happy as she is. So that's why I chose the Be Well pattern. The only thing is I did not follow the called for colors. I just choose like whatever I had in my stash, and it actually looks very good. This side is pink flowers, this side is purple flowers, but they're kind of like, you can always see this in real life. Video and photos did not show the difference that much, but I love how the different color look. So my idea for this is that I want to put the pattern on a ready-made sack. This sack was originally from herbal tea. So I saved the sack, I boiled it in tea and coffee, and I stitched it on top. So now whenever one of my friends or relatives will get cold or a sickness, I can fill it in with some herbal tea or some just medical herbs and give it as a gift, so with the intention of be well. So this was my idea and it's finished. In the back I just put the remaining of this fabric with buttons, and the idea for the back was that if one of my relatives will get sick or friends, I will put a tag on one of the buttons, like for example for Aaron or for Anna or whatever. So or whatever but I will put a name tag here because I think the name should be like this, but I do not want to wait to stitch the name, and I think if someone will get sick I will not have the right amount of time to stitch it. So just put it on a button. It also works, right? One more Makaronka stitch pattern this year was Boar in a Scarf. I think the designer of this year was Makaronka Stitch because I've stitched so many of her patterns. I think the original name is like put on a scarf and bring some happiness or be happy, or my code name is Boar in a Scarf. It's so cute. I don't really like the shading on his face because I think my thread's a little too dark and these ones are too light. So I'm just used to better shading in Russian patterns. But anyway, the whole picture looks amazing. It will be pillow at some point. Maybe it will say New Year or Merry Christmas. Maybe it doesn't say anything. It was very quick stitch. Very quick stitch. Another series, I said it, this year was a lot of series. Another part of the series is Fox in a Sweater with a Cup. And I already stitched Rabbit in a Sweater with a Cup, and this year I finished my stash of these patterns. There are a lot more. There are at least like 20 animals in the series, but I had only 3. So this year I finished them and I'm very happy because the patterns themselves are very easy. Not much blends, the whole design is easy to make, the backstitch is so easy. But the fabric I chose for it, the 32 count Murano with pitted point, I hate it. I literally hate it. So if you ever see me stitching on this fabric, you know that I do not enjoy this pattern or this project. I do not like how the needle goes through these pitted points. These are just painted or printed on the fabric. I do not like how bulky and small my stitches on this fabric are. I did this 2/2, and I think that's why it was a big problem. Maybe if I do this 1/2, it would be much better, but I already started the rabbit 2/2. So that's why I had to do it in 2/2, and not my favorite. But why not, right? Some of things we love, some of things we don't. But in general, like, I like the result. I'm a result stitcher, I think. I'm not the progress stitcher, like process stitcher. I'm going for the finishing project. So the finished project, I love it. It's worth the whole effort. The process, whatever, it's a small thing. And one more animal in the sweater with the scarf that I stitched this year was a raccoon. The raccoon is a little bigger than the fox. Not that bigger, but fatter. So I think it has like 1,000 or 2 more stitches in it. But all in all, it's cute. And nothing else to say about this pattern. As I said, it didn't bring me so much joy as I expected, and that's why I'm not gonna stitch any other patterns from this series. I think I burned myself down on them, but there is so much more designs that I can stitch, right? So why just stop myself on one? I think in the end of summer, I was asked to stitch the model for the magazine, for the Russian cross-stitch magazine, but my design was not chosen for the magazine. This is Winter Nut by Anna Shishkina. She is my great friend. This designer is my great friend. We talk almost daily in our cross-stitch like Stitchy chat, Stitchy group. But this is not really my style of patterns. It's very simple and cartoonish and childlike. So I just did it as a way to help my friend. So this is what it is. But now I have a cute design. Maybe I will gift it or turn it into some project bag. Why not? I can try because this year I already have plans to turn many of my cross stitch into some sewing projects. So that's why it will be one of the possible participants. But all in all, it's very cute and lovely, and the design right now is in the Russian cross-stitch magazine, but I think it's still available for purchase directly from the designer, so nothing super exclusive. Also this summer in the Russian cross-stitch community, there was a challenge to stitch models for different designers. The designers would provide free patterns. Originally, like you have to pay for them, but they would provide for you a pattern for free if you would stitch this pattern and give good pictures, because sometimes there are so many Russian designers, so of course not all of the patterns get stitched, and if there is just a screen from the computer, maybe the pattern doesn't look so good. So one of the patterns that I chose to stitch as a model was the Onigiri dragon. This way? Yeah, if you kind of close it, it looks better. So it's so tiny and so cute. I hand dyed this fabric myself. It's very purple. It's a little washed out for like a camera. Yeah, he has some French knots here and there, and just a little sleeping dragon with a little tiny onigiri, and it's perfect. I added this white backstitch around the whole dragon just to make it a little bit stand out from my fabric, because originally the dragon should be stitched on a lighter fabric, but I asked the designer if she has a preference or I can choose the dark one or whatever. She said yes, sure, why not, like whatever you feel like it. So I thought it would look good on my purple fabric. It does, because orange and purple goes together well, and this is model stitch, so I tried so hard and I took nice pictures, and I hope they help the designer. One more project that I stitched on my own hand-dyed fabric is the Fluffy Wonder by Maria Brovko. This April or March, I think, I was just in a craze of dyeing little pieces of fabric, so I was trying this and that, and I dyed several of them, and this was one of my experiments on dyeing a very colorful bright fabric. So in my stash I found this pretty quiet and nice and very bright, very white pattern that I can stitch on this fabric, and it will not be overwhelmed by the amount of color. So what I changed is that the back stitch on the fabric should be colorful, like pink, brown, white, whatever. I just did all in black. I don't think it looks anything less. I think it just stands out a little more on this fabric, and so far I love it. I received a suggestion that I can just stitch some Easter eggs or Easter motif around it and turn it into something for Easter. So I have this in mind right now, but I don't really stitch for the holidays except for the Halloween that much. So if I ever have the idea to stitch something for Easter, this will be number one. This will be number one, which I will turn to. But I just love this fabric, and I have almost the same piece left of the original fabric, so maybe this year I can try something else. And of course I loved the experience of dyeing fabrics, so there will be more. And this year I wanted to try as many new styles and things as I can, so one more thing I dug out of my stash is a kit by Panna embroidery brooch. So this was a very fun and challenging experience, because there was just printed piece of fabric with the print like of the trees and the house and the lake, and the instructions were like, you take one strand of this color and make a tree. You take 2 strands of that color and stitch a house. Don't forget to stitch the same color on the lake, because this is the reflection. I was like, how? What? When? So I went through all the pictures of the brooches and just kind of looking at what there is out there and what I'm feeling to do. So I made this little brooch, and it's so happy. The backing is not perfect, but it's still okay. I used the threads from the kit to finish it up, and I think they also gave me the felt. But the felt is not really good quality. I mean, for the backing, I usually use a very hard Korean felt. This one. This is like very hard, it doesn't get scratched easily, and it holds its like position. But this felt is so soft, so I had hard time stitching it on, and I think it's a little bit stretching. So anyway, this is brochured for me, and sometimes I'm wearing it. One more discovery this year was the Barber Anna designs. I never stitched anything of hers, but when when there was a huge amount of Be Well freebies on the internet. I stitched several of them, so I think this was the one of the best. The fabric I dyed myself, and I spent like 4 days on dyeing it. First I did it I dyed it in tea, then in a coffee, then I baked it. I was still not very satisfied, because as my vision of this pattern is that the fox is walking through the night, so it shouldn't be exactly like dark blue or something, but this like swampy night. So it can be the dusk, because she already has her light on. So I did not see her on anything bright or light fabric. I wanted her to light up her way through the dusk or through the night. So my feel was like she's walking through some swampy places, and this is what this fabric should feel like. That's why I added some black here, which became very like charcoal gray or something. So this is how it is, and I loved it. It's definitely not quick stitch and not easy stitch. It's huge. Like, her skirt is a big amount of stitches. I did not have her in my program, so I do not know how many stitches exactly. I'm not a masochist enough to count by hand the stitches I stitch. I'm sorry, but I substituted the colors of the berries. Also, I changed her color and the sleeves, because I did not have the new numbers from the DMC collection. I think that is it. Like, I do not think I changed. Oh, and the dress. The dress should be like purplish brown. I just did it in dark brown. So yeah, now that's it. Now that's definitely it. And I love it. I still have no idea how to finish it, but I love it. Because as much as I love just the fox, I love the fabric too. So any FFOing that would involve the fox would include a big chunk of this fabric. So I don't think the framing would look so good on it, but we will see, right? We will see how it goes. But so far, Barber and Anna maybe was like the discoveries of the year, and one of the designers I instantly fell in love. Like, just not because of the pattern or the design, but when I was stitching, the stitches, like the colors go so well together, and the stitches, like, out of the nothing, there was the beautiful design of berries and the leaves, and it was just amazing. And she's a genius. So yeah, one of my favorite designers this year. Though I only stitched one thing, so can I really say that? I need to stitch her more. Another part of the series that I stitched was cup of spirea. So a cup of flowers. This is the designer of this pattern is Svetlana Nemeritskaya. She goes on Instagram as SV Stitch or Svetla Mai, and she has 4 patterns of these cups. And a couple of years ago, she did a free sale with one of the cups. And if you finish the cup, it's like standing on a table with a backwork, half stitch, she would give you the second one, but you have to buy like a third and a fourth. Right now you have to buy all 4 of them, as I believe. But maybe I was just too cheap or something, but when I just finished the first one and received the second one, I did not really fall in love with the rest of them. So I just said, that's enough for me. I'm just fine with the 2 of them. And the first one was stitched on this fabric for a long time ago. That's why I had to finish it. And the idea for this project was to put it in a frame, a long frame, and to have these 2 cute little cups and the words. I cross stitch so I don't kill people in the middle. But when I was like already finished the stitching and I was like looking for the words, it just didn't feel right with the cups. I mean, they give you such a nice and homey impression, something very cozy. So I don't want this phrase to feel too cozy. So that's why I chose the phrase I charted myself, but it's not mine. It was some very smart person's phrase, which I forgot right now. I'm sorry. I forgot who originally said that, but I'm not a teacher, but an awakener. And a lot of times at my kindergarten or at my school, I feel this way. I'm not only a teacher. I also tell these kids a lot about the world, a lot about other countries and people and traditions, and most of all that I love doing is that I like to light up their interest for English language. I show them that English language is not only the workbooks and student books and exercises and writing essays. English language is so much more. English language is a lot of fun and jokes and games and doing the same exercises but in a funnier way. It's a lot of communication and a lot of new friends that they can meet and a lot of new ways to express themselves. So I really feel that not only me, but every teacher of the foreign language, his job is not only to teach the language, but to capture the interest of his or her students in the language and to show them that it's not just another school subject. It's a really different way to live your life. So that's why I chose this phrase. I used this font, and for the background I used very cozy and homey designs. I don't know, it just felt like it. Inside is rice and some smelly filling, so it smells like lavender. Though there is not a hint of lavender on the outside. But I love it, and it just stands on next to my laptop. Whenever I'm using the laptop, I can rest my hand on the cushion, so it's cute. And because I was so into sewing and I did not have a sewing machine, so I sew everything in hand, like just with hands. So I could not make a big pillow, but I made this small cute pillow. This is Stay Home with Internet by Maria Domina, or her nickname is Little Room in the Attic. And she is, I would say she is famous for heavily backstitch works with different colors of backstitch and a lot of craning in her work. So if it's yours, like you like sparkly things and a lot of blends, you should try her. I never tried her before, but one of the things that I try to do each year is try as many new designers as I can. So of course, my stash is like 10 patterns by this designer, 10 patterns by this designer. But during the year, I try to stitch like maybe one or two patterns by the same designer, and the rest should be different ones. So that's why when she did this freebie, and I felt like it was really close to me, because this girl is a blondie, and actually this one was not a blondie, but one of the freebies, she had 3 freebies. Stay Home with Internet, Stay Home with Books, and something else. One of the girls was a blondie, so I just got the threads from that chart and used it in this. And I used the hashtag Stay Home here to remind myself, and pom-poms. The back side is blue with the yellow flowers, but I thought they go well like in total because this chair, like armchair, is blue, and I think it goes well. It's amazing. One more thing that I stitched this year was another pillow, and this pillow I gifted to my best friend Anne, and this was the Pink Bird by Maria Brovko, and when I finished it I was like, why don't I make it into a pillow? Because it's also very small. I think originally the pattern is a little bit longer, but I cut off some of the flower length and just put them all together. So it will be the size of a nice pillow. And I wanted to gift it as a present for the Women's Day. So it should be very cute, very girlish. I also put some very squishy material inside and lavender filling, so it also smells very nice. And Anne always tells me like that when she's sleeping, this little pillow is next to her head, that she can smell it. I was like, it's decorative. I'm not sure you should rub it that much. She's like, no, it's perfect. I'm like, whatever, it's up to you. And the challenge of the year, the challenging project of the year, I think was this. Let me make it smaller. This is cat skull from Makaronka Stitch. And it was challenging because it's made all in backstitch. The whole project is made in backstitch. There is not a single stitch, like full cross, in it. I dyed the fabric myself because originally there should be some like watercolored parts of the design that are stitched in half stitched in blue. I did not really want to do them, so I just did all the back stitch. And it's so beautiful, right? It's like real. It gives the impression that I painted it. Whenever I show people this design on my phone, like the picture, they're like, oh, you draw this? I'm like, no, I stitch it. And they're like, yeah, with a pen. I'm like, no, with needle and thread. They were like, what? So this really was a challenge because I only can do it during the mornings, and actually there was a lot of counting involved. So as much as I love this design, this was not a simple one, and I think I spent a lot of time on it, like a lot of time. Like for one day I could just do maybe this little leaf or half the flower or something like that. But anyway, the finished project is amazing. So it's one of the best things I've done this year. I consider it the best things of this year, but at the same time it's a challenge of the year. Other Makaronka Stitch projects, as much as they are full of backstitch, it's not only backstitch, so it doesn't give the impression of endless backstitch, but as much as it's kind of difficult to do, the more you do it, the more the design is, the more of the design that you are capable of doing, the better it looks. And every time I was like, wow, this is the eye socket. These are his teeth. I finished the teeth. The leaf. Look at the leaf. Like, I think at that moment all my friends knew that I'm stitching it because I just kept sending the pictures and bringing it to any meeting we had just to show how much more I did. But that's not all about the freebies of Be Well period. I also finished this Plague Nurse by Night Spirit Studio, and I really love their aesthetics. This like pixelated and kind of old style of patterns, I definitely want to stitch something else of them. But this work, why it really got into my heart is that my mom is working in a medical establishment and she has brown hair, and right now it's a very difficult situation in Russia, and at that moment it was very difficult. Like, I'm not just saying right now, but the whole year was very difficult situation in Russia, so I worry about her a lot. I think this was just representing of my thoughts. I just needed to stitch something like this to think, to stop like worrying too much and to try to put all my worries into this piece. And I wanted some dark frame for this piece. It's the second framed piece this year. I don't have anything else in frames. When I saw this frame on the internet, I instantly knew it's perfect because it has this like dimension into it. So it's like I put all the worries and all the bad things that happens this year and the whole year into a coffin and just stop thinking about it. I think it's a little too much of thought for such a small design, but a lot of my works make me think while I stitch. It's a lot of about the impressions they give me, the feelings that I have during this works, and it's not just like, oh, I like this picture, I will stitch it. It's a lot about why I stitch this picture and what I want to express using this picture. So that's why even such a small design just means very much a lot to me. So it stands on my like work task, and every day I just remind myself that no matter what, we still survive and everything will be so much better. Okay, let's leave the dark mood away and let's talk about something bright and light and shiny. One of the most colorful works this year was this lantern. And first of all, I dyed this fabric myself. Yeah, something like this. It's more bright. It's not that washed out as the sun shows us. It's very sunny today. I mean, I cannot make videos after work because there is no lightning, and the day I want to make the video, it's still bright. So this is a lantern by the Russian designer Alisa Kniaz. What's that? No idea. Whatever. So, and when I stitched it, I did not have any idea how to finish it, but it was very close. It was like late spring, very close to summer, and in summer I love using tote bags, just like going anywhere out, or I don't use the backpack much during summer. I use the tote bag. So I have a very big range of tote bags, and I thought, why not make a tote bag with cross stitch? I just bought a cheap tote bag from Miniso. It's I think it's like Korean company of cheap things in China. Like basically like a dollar store, but everything for 10 to 15 yuan, something like this. So I think I bought it the bag there. It had some like small design, maybe cherry or something here, but when I covered it, you cannot see it. I stitched it in hand from the inside. Oh yeah, it was cherry. You can see it actually. And I stitched it from inside in hand, and I think it's pretty neat and pretty nice. So it's perfect for summer tote. And this lantern is also very bright, and I'm just loving it. It wasn't very easy work because I think there are at least 40 colors in this little piece. So, but at that moment, for the first time, I think I started using the phone app Cross Stitch Saga, and I learned that I can just highlight one color and fill it all over the place. So it was a lifesaver for me. because before I had to like start in the middle and change the color and change the color and change the color, so many color changes. But now I can just take the most usable color, fill it in the whole thing, and then the second most usable, and by the time I finish the maybe first or second most usable color and I have to count it, after that I don't need to count anything else. Other colors just go around the pattern. So this was supposed to be a difficult piece, but it turned out to be very easy, very enjoyable, and just a lifesaver for me. So after that, I mostly stitch using Cross Stitch Saga. It's very close to Pattern Keeper, but it doesn't work with PDF. It works with another format of patterns. But mostly like 99.9% of Russian designers use it. So if you ever want to stitch a Russian pattern, I would certainly recommend to purchase it. It's so not expensive. It's a very cheap app, and I don't know, $7, $10, something like that. But if you purchase it, it will save you so much time and so much effort, because at first, for the beginners, Russian patterns can seem a little bit difficult and time-consuming and too many blends. But if you're using these patterns in the app, it becomes the easiest thing on the world. So it gives you a lot of enjoyment, not a work. Last winter, I also took part in a SAO by one of the Russian YouTubers, Flosstubers. Her name is Malinovые крестики, like raspberry stitches. And she made a SAO among her subscribers to stitch birds. So during the SAO, I stitched 2 birds, which one of them I want to show you right now. This is a hummingbird and cranberry. It's a big piece. Like, it's a really, when I first see the pattern, I was like, hummingbird, it's small and cute. Of course I would stitch it. And it will take me like a couple of weeks at most. No, the whole month. But it's a very wonderful and awesome piece. The colors are amazing, and I like this kind of watercolor effect of the back stitch, like the background, it goes into watercoloring. And I don't know how to show this fabric, but the fabric is actually at my eye, it's very green. It's a very intensive green, but on the camera it's also gray, and no idea, but you have to believe me that it is green. It was also new to me. I think it's called the Eva or something like this. It's Austrian linen. That's why it has some this very cool pattern in the fabric. It's easy to stitch. Unlike like regular linen, it's kind of even, and I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix of linen with something, but at the same time it does not show the color well. So I tried this fabric this year. I loved it. Unfortunately, I don't have any other pieces of it. My friend sent it to me here to China, and so that's why I was able to try it, and I'm very thankful to my friend. But if I would have a opportunity to buy more, I would, because I really enjoyed it. It's linen, but it doesn't fray a lot. It doesn't fray at all. It's kind of soft and nice to the touch. So if you can try Austrian fabrics, I definitely recommend it. So this is my hummingbird. We are very close to finish. I hope this video will not last forever. Some smalls that I finished this year. Apple cider from Dibная Вишня. It's like, company name is Amazing Cherry. They make their patterns not on wood, but on like carton it's something very close to the wooden material, but it's not a real piece of wood. It's like the pressed wooden pieces together. No idea how to say it in English. Just tell me if you know. How would you know if you don't see it right in you cannot touch it? But what I liked it was a kit. So they give you the piece, the pattern, all the floss, they give you the backing felt, and they give you the little magnet. So right now it's a magnet on my fridge, and I totally love how it looks, though I hate it while I was stitching it. And why? Because it's very small, and when I have it in my hand and stitch it, my hand starts to hurt. I think I'm used to like big hoops, so I can just grab the hoop and hold it, but this thing is really small, and I had to turn it, and at some point it wasn't very easy to hold. Like, you cannot really hold and push your needle if it's like this little part. So at some point my hand really started aching and hurting, and I think this piece I did like 100 of stitches per day only. I did 100 stitches, leave it till tomorrow. 100 stitches, leave it till tomorrow, because otherwise, hands cramps. So I still want to stitch the rest of the series. They have any alcohol drink you like. They have the whole series of alcohol drinks. They also have a lot more. Like, they have some animals and flowers and whatnot, but I like alcohol drinks. Serious. No, Mom, I don't like alcohol drinks. No, I just like to stitch them. I would definitely purchase the next in the series, but right now in China we do not have a lot of access to Russian kits, even the smallest ones. So maybe next year will bring us some good news, who knows. And two more things that I stitched at the beginning of 2020 were two patterns by Valentina R. It was Naruto, which I turned into the keychain for my ex-husband, and One Punch Man, which is also a keychain for our best friends Victor. And they were the presents for Men's Day. Like, in Russia we celebrate the Men's Day on 23rd of February. It's like the day of the defender of the motherland, and actually it's the day of just all the soldiers and army people. But right now, if you're just a male, you can celebrate this holiday too. So that's why I think it's fair that they congratulate me with the Women's Day, and I would congratulate them on the Men's Day. That's why I prepared some very cute gifts. My ex was really into watching anime and Naruto especially, so that's why I chose it. And Victor, he's not into anime that much, but we watched some of it together and he liked One Punch Man, so that's why I thought it was just a cute gesture to give it. And the last thing I will show today, and which was the first finish of 2020, is my Royal Person by Ekaterina Saidova. It was also a part of the bird cell, but it was so much more. It was actually so much more. With this pattern, I started my year of Stitch from Stash. With this pattern, I tried stitching something not exceptionally super cute and I don't know, positive, and still it did not give me bad vibes or anything like that. So actually this pattern also means quite a lot to me, but I'm just loving it. I remember that I was stitching it in Thailand because last year, at the beginning of the year, we were kind of trying to escape from China when there was a big outbreak, and we spent almost 1 month in Thailand. And every day there, it was not very much fun. We did not have a lot of fun there. Mostly we were trying to save money, so we just stayed in a hotel, go to the beach, stay in hotel, eat very cheap food. So it's not like, oh my god, a whole month of vacation in Thailand. No, after living there for 1.5 years, I can truly say there is so much more there that you can do, but you still need to spend some money on it. And since we were trying to save as much as we can, because as I said, I didn't have any income for 5 months, so this meant a lot to me, because at that moment, every time I would look at the royal person, I would remember those days when I woke up, I would go out, and during the hottest time of the day I would stitch, and then go inside and stitch some more under the AC, and then go out and stitch again till the dark. And then it's time to just go to the beach and enjoy the sunset. So this was my Thailand project. I think I finished it there. I think so. I can be a little bit mistaken because I might not have all the threads for the back stitch there, so I maybe returned and finished the back stitch, but mostly it was done in Thailand. And I truly love this little pigeon. I know that the designer says it's a princess, like royal person, queen or something. It's a girl. For me, it's a boy. I'm sorry, I don't know why. It's a boy. So this was my 2020 in stitches, and I am really surprised by how much I managed to do and how different everything was. Like, I dyed the fabrics, I saw pillows and things, I tried embroidery, I framed finishes, I tried new designers, new patterns, even new sampler styles, because you see my stitching, it's not very samplerish and not very primitive, but I tried that and I loved that, and there will be more of that too. So I'm just overwhelmed with how bad overall this year was, but in the result it gave me so many bright and wonderful moments of stitching and comforting myself, because I was fighting this year with my stitching. I was fighting all this gloominess and despair and everything with my stitching, and this is the result and I love it. So thank you everyone who was here with me during this parade, and I guess see you later in a week or so, and thank you very much for just being here with me. It means really a lot to me. Bye!